Hello, my name is Brad Otto. I am the Director of Operations at Faith Direct. I'll be leading you through this third training video on the Faith Direct Church Administrator website. This third video will be focusing on the reports available on the Church Administrator website. You can access the reports using the main navigation menu at the top of the Church Administrator website here. We have the Reports menu. When you mouse over that Reports menu, you will see that there's a drop-down that displays the reports currently available using the Church Administrator website. Those reports are the Enrollment Report, the Appeals Summary Report, and the Projected Giving Report. So we will start with the Enrollment Report. And the Enrollment Report details the current number of active donors at your church who are currently giving to one of the general offertory collections. So that would be donors that are giving to either the weekly or the monthly offertory collections. And what that does is it displays the number of donors giving to those collections as well as giving you the average offertory amount that's being processed. So what we can do is if you are managing more than one church, you can select the church that you'd like to run this report for using that church name drop-down. Also, if you're managing more than one church, you can select that Run All checkbox, and the report will then display your enrollment for all of your churches. So what we're going to do here is just go ahead and hit Run Report. And you can see then that it does show on screen what your enrollment details are. The first half of this report just summarizes information that you've already reviewed using the My Church menu item as far as the church's name, the size, the number of estimated donors, and the program start date. But then here we have the offertory donors column. And what this does is this shows the number of users, again, that are giving to either a weekly or a monthly offertory collection. So you can see that here in the Faith Direct Demo Church, we have 4 offertory donors, which presents in a conversion rate of 22.2%. And what that is that 4 offertory donors out of the estimated 18 donors is how we get to that 22.2% conversion. And then lastly here, we have the average weekly offertory amount. So what this does is list for us the average amount that those 4 donors are processing each week. And then you also have the download file option available so that if you wanted to download this exact report into an Excel compatible file, you can just click on download file and then it will download that to your computer. So that is the enrollment report. We're going to then go back up to the reports menu and select the appeal summary report. The appeal summary report provides a listing of all the scheduled gifts that are listed then alphabetically by appeal for all of your donors and what they have currently enrolled for in the Faith Direct program. This report, as with all of our other reports, is live. So this is showing real-time what all of your donors are currently set to give. And again, what this does is it lists every appeal that we've currently processing for your church, sorts those alphabetically, and then lists the users that are giving to those appeals. So you can see here, we can select the church again from the drop-down. If you're managing more than one church, you can select the church that you'd like to run this report for. And we have the start date range fields. And what this does is this defaults to what is essentially the beginning of the Faith Direct program. But you can, if you'd like to isolate users who maybe have enrolled in the last month or enrolled in the last 6 months, if you'd like to see what they're given, you can modify that start date range to just display the results for those users. And then we also have here a drop-down where you can choose whether you'd like to review the report on screen or download it into a Microsoft Word or Excel compatible format. And then lastly, we have a checkbox here that you can choose whether or not you'd like to show suspended donors. Suspended donors are users who are not going to process the next time that we do process donations unless they update their payment information with Faith Direct. So they are technically still considered active users in that they have not quit their enrollment in the program. However, right now they're temporarily suspended. Users may become suspended perhaps because their billing information was declined the last time we processed donations, or maybe they got a new card number and just forgot to update Faith Direct before we process their donations. So anytime that someone is suspended, we do always contact them and let them know that we had a problem processing their donations and that we need them to update their information with us so that we can continue to process their donations. Users may also be suspended because perhaps they're going to be going for an extended vacation or something like that and need to suspend their giving, or maybe they've run across financial hardship that they need to temporarily suspend their giving for. So again, if you use that suspended donors checkbox, it's going to show people who have the potential to be giving to those appeals but aren't necessarily active right now. So if we process donations tomorrow, they would not be in the list of donors who have their donations processed. So we're going to go ahead and run the report. And we did select it to show only users who are not suspended, so we're not going to see any suspended users in this report. You can see that we have the appeal summary report listed at the top, just again, the name of the report that we've run. We've got some churches information, and we have the date range. So this we ran for that from the beginning of the Faith Direct program through the end of the year date range. So you can see here on screen that we do have all the appeals that are, again, sorted alphabetically. So All Souls is here at the top, and then Weekly Offertory is going to be all the way down at the bottom. You can see that for each of these appeals, we have listed the names of the users that are giving to them. Those are also sorted alphabetically by last name. We have their Faith Direct ID, and we have their church ID, or their envelope number. We also have listed whether their payment type is a bank or a credit card. If you do run this report showing the suspended users, you would see a Y next to their account under the suspended column. And then lastly, we see the amount that they're signed up to give to that appeal. So if it was November and we were going to be processing All Souls Day, these individuals would be processing for these amounts for this collection. And at the bottom here, we have the total for all donations. So that is the appeal summary report. Like I said, you can export that into a Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel formatted file if you wanted to play around with it. If you wanted to sort it by users and show what they're giving there, you can do that by exporting into Excel. All right, so now we'll move on to the projected giving report. And what this projected giving report does is it allows you to forecast what we'll be processing for your church for any future transaction periods. So if you wanted to know what we were going to be processing next month in gross, you can use this report to find that information. As with all of our reports, we do have that drop down so that if you are managing multiple churches, you can choose which one you'd like to run the report for. And then you can choose the month that we'll be processing or that you want to know that information for. We'll select August for this, and then also you can choose whether you want to just view the report on screen or if you want to download it into Microsoft Word or Excel. And then we have here an additional field where you can choose whether or not you want to show donor gifts. I'm going to actually run this report both without showing and with showing donor gifts so you can see both views. So here we go. We're going to run it first here without selecting the show donor gifts. And you can see that very similar to the appeal summary report, we do have the name of the report at the top of the page. We have the summary information for your church. And then over here on the right, we've got the month that we've run this report for. And it also lists in the number of Sundays that are in this month. So if we're looking at any type of a weekly gift, we'll know that that's based on the number of Sundays. So for August of 2011, there's 4 Sundays. You can see just as with the appeal summary report, we've got the appeals are listed alphabetically from A to Z. So we've got assumption here at the top, and then weekly offertory all the way down here at the bottom. You can see that the way that we subtotal each of these collections is by the payment type, so American Express, Discover, EFT, which is a checking or savings account. Then we have MasterCard and Visa, and then we subtotal each of the appeals. And then at the very bottom here, we total up all of the individual payment types as well as total all donations. Once again, what this report does is gives you a gross amount that we will be processing. So we don't have the Faith Direct fee or any estimated credit card fees listed on this report. And also, as a reminder, this report is real time. So this may change if someone enrolls tomorrow, and you would see then their gifts on here as well. So we're going to go ahead and run this report again. And this time we're going to run it by clicking on Show Donor Gifts. And what that then is going to show us all the donors that actually enrolled for any of these contributions. So we can see here then that we've got that same summary information up at the top, but now you can see that we've actually broken out the names and the payment types for all the individuals that are giving to this collection. So you can see that we've got their name. Again, this report is going to be sorted alphabetically by last name. We've got their Faith Direct ID. We've got what type of a payment they'll be making, so whether or not it's a bank account or a credit card. If they are using a credit card, we also have listed here what their credit card type is. So we've got MasterCard, Visa, American Express, or Discover. And then we do that same subtotaling of the individual appeals as well as totaling the entire report. So those are all of the reports that are currently available. If you have any questions on these reports, if you'd like to see us and any recommendations for future reports, please just give us a call at 866-507-8757. You can also send us an email at info@faithdirect.net. Thank you.